Hello students, we are going to perform a lab dissection of the sheep eye today, and I'm going to show you a video of an up-close dissection so you will be able to follow me on step-by-step procedures, what tools to use, what kind of cuts we're going to do, and basically you're going to uncover all the major parts of the eye. So let's get started. You should do all your cutting on the table. So everything I've done today, where I'm holding it up into the air, I've done that on purpose as an adult, so you may see it zoomed into my camera in high definition. But when you cut, I urge you to do it on the tray, because I don't want you holding an eyeball and cutting yourself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Anatomy Honors. Today we are dissecting a sheep's eye. And as you can look at my tray here that I have centered here for you, you will notice some equipment that we're going to be using. So if I have to, I will bring it closer to you. And what I have here is a tray, and in here we're going to have utensils including a pointer right here. That's a pointer tool. Next you have a scalpel. The scalpel is used to cut and make incisions. And then we have some pins here so we can pin down some articles from the eye. This is a tweezer that we'll use to grab a hold of certain organs and parts. And the scissor is very important for making the overall cut, dividing into frontal and posterior planes. And now, here's our guest of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the sheep eye. Everything is coming to you in 4K high definition out of my camera. So, this is a beautiful specimen that you are going to be dissecting today, and we're going to get started right now. So the first thing you want to look at here is that when you get your eye, it is quite round and robust. It is quite large, and you can see the cornea right here. Let me use a poker here. So here we go. This is the cornea, which is the outer rim of the eye, which helps to protect everything behind, including the pupil and the iris. You really can't see the iris. Again, this is a sheep eye, not a human eye. And here you will see the sclera, which is the white of the eye surrounding the outside of it. If I turn this eyeball around and show you the posterior end, you can also see the muscles here. The muscles that are connected here also, which actually, if the company that did this, I don't know if we can actually see it. Oh, there it is. It's really hard to see it though. I am now touching with my pointer, and juices are flowing out. I gotta be careful. This right here where I'm pointing is the optic nerve. The optic nerve, ladies and gentlemen, is what is connected to your brain, which allows for the sense of vision. The optic nerve is hidden in here somewhere, and then everything around is muscle. So let me show you what this is. For example, you see this flap of tissue right here? It's waving hello to you. It's actually the rectus lateral or the rectus medial muscle that helps to rotate the eye to left and right. Okay? Also with this, you can see that there is some fat around the eyeball, and it's been pretty much surrounding the entire eye. In fact, here, if you want to help clean it up, you can take the fat off of here, but that's not going to be necessary. What our job to do today is mostly to dissect this thing. So I've already made a puncture in here because I was so scared to explode this, the gelatinous liquid into my very expensive camera. So when you are in the lab room, this is what you're going to be doing. You are going to be very careful, making sure you're wearing your goggles, which I am right now, and also keep your face mask on. Everything you can to protect yourself. Ladies, make sure your hair is pulled up and back. So the first thing you're going to do is, and I'm going to come closer to my camera, I've already made an incision. Hello, can you see me? It looks like he's got a little mouth on the side. So we're going to do a frontal incision. So a frontal cut is when you want to separate the front of the body from the back of the body. And nothing gets more detailed than cutting the front of the eyeball. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab with your index finger and your thumb really carefully, not tight because it might slip out of your hands. And you're going to put it on the table here like this. So while you're doing that, you're going to be very careful with your scalpel. And this, again, I already told you I've already cut. So you want to go in this direction here. Now, I don't want you to do this all the way around the circle. All you're going to do is literally cut the steak or make an impingement. You can also take the tip of the scalpel and push in, but that's very risky because that's when the eye juice, or we call it the vitreous humor, can come, the aqueous humor can come splashing out like a volcano. So all I would do is literally hold it like this, the way I'm holding it, place it on the tray, and just go back and forth really lightly with light pressure, because you want the water to come out slowly like a drippy, snotty nose. You don't want to stab it because it will explode like a volcano, and all of a sudden all this water will come gushing at your face. So be very careful. So let's go ahead and pretend I did that already. I've made a few incisions and now I see like liquid coming out. Once you have opened it up, and here I come again with my little incision, as you can all see here. Okay, see the incision there? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to do a complete cut, separating the front of the eye from the back of the muscles and optic nerve. So watch me, here I go. Let's go ahead and cut this completely. Try to keep still as possible your hands. Make sure you don't cut yourself, okay? And we're gonna go around, we'll keep going. And this one's already pre-cut because I just didn't finish cutting it all the way. And okay, let's go there. So once you do that, ladies and gentlemen, look at the good stuff on the inside. Here I come, coming into you in 3D. Look at that. My camera is amazing. It is really clear. Look at that focus. How close can I get? My dear Lord, look at that. Wow. This is super high def, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the 21st century. So what do I have over here? Let me see if I can get my poker here so I can introduce you to our internal components. So over here, that I am pointing to is the lens. The lens, just like a camera, helps to focus objects, making things in clear detail, okay? Over here is the posterior end of the eyeball. That weird fleshy looking yellow stuff is your retina. And remember what the retina does? It composes or holds the rods and the cones. Rods for black and white pigments, and cones for showing colors and so forth. This beautiful yet strange coloration behind it. I don't want to destroy it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me get the water out. That is the aqueous humor. Aqueous meaning water. I'm going to see if I can, how close can I get? Oh, look at that. Okay, can you all see what I'm going to point at right now? And that is this blue little thing right here. That is called the tapetum lucidum. The tapetum lucidum. And that is like this shiny, nocturnal, art-looking film, which is only located in nocturnal animals such as the sheep, because they can see in the dark. Okay, so humans don't have this, just letting you guys know. So sorry, we do not have the blue oyster shell looking thing in the back of our heads, okay, which is this beautiful blue thing right there, okay? So let me go ahead and show you what's going on here. So let me go ahead and close this up again. So here we go. This again was your cornea, and behind there is your pupil, which you can't see because the sheep's cornea is so diluted. It's been in a bucket for a long time. The white part that you see here one more time is the sclera, okay? And this is the rectus muscles that helps to pull the eyeball to the sides and so forth, okay? I apologize for moving the eyeball so close towards myself. I've never filmed this close before. Let's go ahead and open up the eyeball one more time. So here's what I want you to do now. I want you to go ahead and completely separate these two parts. So let's finish cutting, which I did not, and I've got to be very careful here. So let's go ahead and examine what is in the anterior portion of the eye. And ladies and gentlemen, this is quite unique and quite cool. So I'm going to come as close as I can to the camera. Look at that. Okay, so what are we going to point at here? One more time. This very hard substance in the middle looks like an M&M. That is a lens, okay? We said that already. That's the lens of focus. Now you've got something called the vitreous humor. It's the gel. Look at that. Look how squishy and wiggly it is. I'm going to pull it out of here. And this is also half of the retina, which is taken from the posterior portion, which holds the rods and the cones. So now the next thing you're going to do, very carefully, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice. You can go ahead and take the tweezers. You can squeeze the lens right here, and you can pull that out if you want to. But what I'm doing is very difficult because I'm really close to you guys, or the lens, and I don't want to just completely pull it out, but I am going to. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. I have just separated the lens. That is the lens, and I'm going to put it in my hand so you can see the lens. It is the size of an M&M, okay? And that is really supposed to be translucent. And it's been in the eye for so long that it's actually gotten very dark. If it's, when the animal was alive, when you are, as you are right now, this would be super clear. This would be like glass. You can see right through it, but it's been out of the body for so long that it's not. But when you do get this out, you will see that it's quite large. It's probably 12, 14 millimeters in diameter. It's quite large and very hard. So that is the lens, which is located behind the pupil. So I'm going to put that down in the corner. Let's go back here, and I hope I can pull it out for you, but I'm going to get a little closer to you again. Now you see it's actually pretty much gone, the gel, but I'm going to try and pull it out for you. The vitreous gel, you want to go ahead and scrape out like this. Some of you will have a lot more because I said again earlier, this one was already pretty much opened up, but I'm going to show you an example. This is the vitreous humor, okay, meaning it's very gel-like. The aqueous humor was more watery, but as you can see here, you see how it looks like it's very jello-y, see? It's not dispersing, it is staying clumped. That is very gel-like, jello-like, pudding-like. And that is what helps with the intraocular pressure within the eye to sustain its round shape. And you got pieces of retina, which is still surrounding. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop that to the side. Now let's go inside even more to this here section. And let me see, I don't know what I did. I think I threw my paper away. So now let's pay close attention. Again, this is going to be the cornea on the anterior side. Here's the sclera. Now let's look on the inside here. The next thing you're going to notice is this circle right here. The circle I'm pointing to is actually the opening of the pupil. Okay, so that's the opening of the pupil. But check out this mushroom gill looking thing around it. You know what that is? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the ciliary body. This is the ciliary body, which is comprised of papillary muscles which contract and constrict, which allows the iris to dilate or constrict your eyes. You know when someone has dilated eyes from a concussion or, God forbid, if they're on drugs? Well, this inner muscle layer pulls with the iris, which exposes the pupil. By the way, the retina is what makes dilated eyes look dilated. It's not actually the pupil that's getting larger. It is not. It is actually the iris which is being contracted by the ciliary muscle here. So the next thing we're going to do right now, we're going to try carefully to pull out this ciliary muscle. And you can do that in several ways. You can just go ahead and use the tweezers, like I'm about to, and you can do it two ways. You can go ahead and grab on the inside, okay, like this, and you can start pulling it out. It's actually very strong. It's united to itself, and you can start pulling it slowly. As you can see, I'm just going to town. And see here, I've already removed half of it. Oops. I've already removed half of it, and you can see how clear that cornea is. So now I'm going to just rip this whole thing out. Be very careful. As you can see, this is coming out. It looks like the top of a mushroom. This is the papillary muscle known as the ciliary body. So here we go. Look at that. Ta-da! It's out. That is the ciliary body, and unfortunately, I can't get any closer without my camera losing its shape, size. Okay, there it is. So it looks kind of like a mushroom, and you'll see what I'm talking about once you get to it later on. Okay, and here's the back side of it. Ooh, look at that. Quite interesting, isn't it? Now let's go to the very back, the posterior portion of the eye. And you can still see that there's going to be some gelatinous gel there, or the vitreous gel is still there. And I'm going to go ahead, before I do that, I shouldn't do that right away yet, because ladies and gentlemen, we forgot to completely show you where the retina sits. The retina, let me get a little closer if I can. The retina is actually here. This little fleshy kind of looking stuff here, that is the retina. And the retina's job is to contract light that's incoming through the pupil. The lens then allows it to capture rods and cones. Remember, rods are pigments that help find black and white colors, and then the cones help to absorb the color spectrum of the three main colors, red, green, and blue, RGB spectrum. So now, as the jelly sits there as well, you can go ahead and continue to take this off. So let's go ahead, let us get the tweezer one more time and softly pull this out, completely getting rid of all the retina. Now, here's the coolest thing again. Let me get the water out. It's dripping water. So I hope it's clear on your end. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's got like this blue streak. It's very shiny. Ladies and gentlemen, that is in nocturnal animals, which help them see in the dark. That is a layer in the back behind the retina. It is called the tapetum lucidum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to now expose the optic nerve. And the optic nerve is actually going to be somewhere very centered back here. It's kind of hard to see with all this fat and muscle all connected here. And another thing is, sadly, whoever was in charge of this one specifically, they really cut the optic nerve to the point where it's not even sticking out anymore. Unfortunately, I wish I had a better example for that, but some of you will see that. But I'm going to say that this is the optic nerve right here, okay? And let me go. This right here would have been the pointing end of the optic nerve, which allows visual information to be sent to the body. And everything else, there are 6 major muscles that rotate the body of the eye. And again, I'm holding the posterior end. So by the time you're done, what I would ask for you to do is to carefully take, if you have these pins here, to go ahead and pin your specimen to the tables of the blue, okay? And you can go ahead and start labeling. You can take a picture after you're done. After you're done dissecting, you need to go ahead and take a picture with your iPad, the different levels or components that you see here, especially the posterior. Here's your lens right there. You want to be able to show, you want to take a picture of the front of the eye, including the cornea, the sclera, and some of the rectus muscles. I'm not sure if this is the lateral or the medial because it's not in the eye of the animal. So, and then there's some fat there. And here's your ciliary body, which helps you contract everything there as well. All right, here's some fat. And don't forget the retina, which is outside of the body now. So this is the retina. You can label that. I'll go ahead and poke that for you. You'll be difficult to find the vitreous humor because it's going to be pretty much so not much intact anymore, because once you move around, the jelly part will start leaking out. But you can go ahead and just point to it and say that's the vitreous gel humor. Then you can go ahead and take a second picture by doing this. Flip the front or flip the anterior, because in the anterior you can go ahead and show the insides where the pupil would have been, and that would have been right in the center of the cornea. And then don't forget here also that you're going to be showing the placement of the ciliary body here as well too. So basically, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this mess here. At the end of the day, you are going to be cutting the eye. You will be most likely identifying the following things. Here we go. You needed to show me the cornea, okay? You had to show me the pupil, which you really can't see, so I'm not going to ask you to label that because it's in between. The iris, which is also hard to see because it would have been right here, but the whole thing has been taken out. You do need to label the sclera, which is the white part of the eye, okay? The retina, which is laying right here, or would have been in the back of this posterior compartment. You definitely have to label the ciliary body, which is what I'm pointing at right now. Let me use my prong. That's the ciliary body, the muscles that open and close the iris, okay? The lens, which is very important, which helps you focus light and focus objects far and nearsighted or things like that. The optic nerve, we tried our best. It's in the back. Some of you will find the optic nerve. And when you do, you can flip this one over too, take a picture of that and point to the optic nerve. The tapetum lucidum, which is this beautiful coloring oyster shell kind of looking film, which is only in nocturnal animals. Please highlight that. The aqueous and the vitreous humor are going to be hard to label because it's just liquid and it's all over the tray right now. But when you're pulling it out, if you're able to really separate the squishy part, that would be great. And unfortunately, we did not see any eyelashes or palpebra because this one just didn't have it attached. But some of you will have the eye and it will have an eyelash attached to it. So there it is, okay? So everything that I just mentioned, if you can, place everything in the tray and just start labeling them as a worksheet that you are using as a handout. And that is about it for our sheep eye dissection. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.